Welcome into the Ringerverse. This is, of course, the Ringer's Nexus podcast feed for all things fandom. We are Steve, the architect, Ahlman, the builder and tinker of things. Jomi, the explainer, Adeniran. You've got questions, he's got answers. Old man Van, he of the receding resurgent hairline. Just to show you guys we're still good. Just had to bring my hat back.
Right.
Coke, Baby Chuck, the 24-karat closer. Together we are known as the Midnight Boys. Follow us on socials. Gotta get a bear pew pew. The Midnight Boys. Follow us on socials: Insta, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Jomi.
Never done that before. Guys, we interviewed the director of Thunderbolts. It was a lot of fun. That's coming tomorrow because they've already heard us talk about the movie on Friday.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff coming on the socials. Make sure you follow.
I'm not gonna lie, doing these podcasts does feel like I'm a time traveler. Like I be talking like we not recording. It's like
coming to you from the past.
I gotta be honest with you. There's one question that I think is going to resonate with audiences more than any other because I'm starting to see a narrative pop up.
Oh,
Charles had a brilliant question that he was able to ask Jake, the director of the Thunderbolts, which is about how he feels about the Thunderbolts kicking sinners out of IMAX.
Yeah, our people are not happy, bro.
They
are not happy, yo. Honestly, shout out to Jake because he was very diplomatic. He knew how to answer that question. I was like,
very diplomatic. Like Kalika and I watched the entire 10-minute Ryan Coogler Kodak video. She hadn't seen it.
Oh, the breakdown of the film.
Wait, what did she think of it?
Well, she was enthralled.
Yeah.
Like the video made her emotional for some reason. She was enthralled. She also was complaining because she wants to see it in 70 again. We saw it in 70 at the LA premiere. She wants to see it in 70 again, and she can't.
Yeah.
She went with her friends, and they saw it. She wants to see it in 70 again. She can't see it in 70 again because everything's sold out.
They're definitely bringing it. I feel like they gotta bring it back later this year.
That's what she was asking. She was asking whether or not they would bring it back. And I was like, you gotta make room for the Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts is good.
It's very good.
It's good.
Yeah.
She wasn't very receptive to that though.
Right.
Didn't like it.
She said, fuck them Thunderbolts.
Didn't like it.
We're on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, share. You can watch every Midnight Boys and House of Art episode on youtube.com/@Ringerverse and also on Spotify. Programming reminders. We're reminding you what's on the feed today. Oh, baby. Programming reminders. Reminding you what's on the feed this week.
Hey.
This week, the House of Art gives you their latest Last of Us deep dive. A lot of stuff to deep dive. A lot of stuff happening in The Last of Us. God damn. Jesus. Monday, we have a special spoiler-filled interview with Thunderbolts director Jake Schreier. And we'll have Andor reactions and deep dives for you. Quick thing here. Is Andor getting washed over?
A little bit.
I feel like it almost always is by stuff.
A little. Because I feel like between Last of Us, Thunderbolts, Sinners...
Yeah.
It's getting lost in the sauce.
I mean, it's 3 episodes, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of it each week. So I mean, like everything else is, aside from Sinners, everything else is a little bit more of a quick hitter versus you gotta sit down 3 hours of Andor.
And the way Tony Gilroy is talking, he's like, I made my show. I got my money.
I'm out.
He's like, fuck you.
Okay. But on today's show, we're going to give you our instant reactions to the latest episodes of The Last of Us. We're going to spoil everything in the show and in the game up to where we are in the show. We're not going to go forward. We don't forward spoil as far as the game is concerned. But if you haven't seen the stuff behind it, we will spoil that shit and we don't give a fuck. Steve? We're getting ready to talk about
The Last of Us.
You're listening to a reaction podcast. The spoilers are coming. Gotta put you in the know. The only way to do that is the Midnight Manifest. The only person who can do that is Chuck Wack. And Chuck, take it away.
All right. This is the Midnight Manifest for The Last of Us, Episode 4, directed by Kate Herron, written by Craig Mazin. We're finally introduced to Isaac, a ruthless WLF member who hates Fedra. In the present, Isaac tortures a Seraphite who he calls a Scar for information on their next attack against his people. Meanwhile, Ellie and Dina search Seattle for any clues to the WLF's whereabouts. After Ellie throws Dina a mini concert, the duo find the aftermath of a massacre in an abandoned building. The Seraphites have gutted WLF soldiers and hung them by their necks as a warning. Ellie and Dina are found by the WLF, kill 2 soldiers as they mount their escape, but underground Ellie is bitten by a zombie. On the brink of killing her best friend, Ellie convinces Dina not to shoot her because, ta-da, she's immune. After realizing Ellie is telling the truth, Dina and her do the freak nasty, and then she's like, I'm pregnant. And that has been your Midnight Manifest for episode 4 of The Last of Us. Van, this is our second episode of Last of Us 2.0 with Ellie, Dina leading a lot of the story. Where are you at? What were your thoughts?
Okay. I'm going to give a big picture thought. Then I'm going to get into a little bit more granular stuff because I also want to make sure that we have a robust discussion about Jeffrey Wright in this show.
Yeah.
Wow, what a debut. What a fucking debut. This show right here was very important in the whole Last of Us show and in prestige television period.
Mhm.
This is one of the more important episodes of a prestige television show that I can remember. We talked about here on this fucking podcast, Aleya, Kerm, appreciate you guys. We talked about
What was
on
that?
this. I'm just gonna say Aleya and Kerm's names throughout the entire podcast. Okay,
You were coming real hot.
I was
there.
like, God damn, what did we say about that motherfucker? They in revolt.
I apologize.
There's some intensity there. I wasn't ready for
There's a lot
that.
going on.
We talked about on this podcast how The Last of Us did something that not a lot of other prestige shows have done, which is to kill a big name actor protagonist, right? It's one thing to kill your main character, right? It's another thing to kill your main character when that character is such a big star, as big of a star as Pedro Pascal is right now. You're talking about Bryan Cranston as Walter White, James Gandolfini as Tony Soprano is a big deal. The question is, can the show live on and be entertaining and compelling without that character?
Yeah.
Now, the last episode was, however, it was still in the wake of that having happened. This show begins the new narrative of The Last of Us. We kind of get back to the old formula of the show, and it was one of the best episodes of this show with that formula. We're talking about 2 people on the road relying on one another and using their bond, or excuse me, not using their bond, but their bond being central to the action that was going on. It's a different bond than Ellie and Joel, thank God. But it is still, to me, the same type of tension that you got in the first season, but the extra added dimension deepened my intrigue into what was going on.
Instead of a wolf and cub, it is like the cub is coming and like Ellie's learning how to become a wolf, you know?
It's not wolf and cub, it's 2 scissors.
All right.
Stop it.
But
Can we be
but
adults
it's not
on
even
this
an animal.
episode? Man,
Dude,
man,
It's not even
man.
an animal.
Can we be adults?
I apologize. Aleya and Kerm, I'm sorry.
That's not Saji. What would be the word for
That's not Saji at all.
That's not, but 2
That's
scissors
cele-
is crazy, bro.
I love the part where they were
Insanely
walking,
horny.
when they were walking through Pride Land in Seattle and they didn't realize that it was.
Capitol Hill. That's actually like crazy important. That's probably like one of the most powerful things
Talk about it.
after the big affirmation of their connection at the end is when like they have sex and Ellie reveals that she's immune and Dina reveals that she's pregnant. It's like not only like an extension of trust, but an extension of like connection and love between them.
Mm-hmm.
And when they go through what would assumedly be like Capitol Hill, the pride part of Seattle, they don't know what all of that iconography is. They don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I was trying to break it down like time-wise in like on our timeline. When was like the pride? Can we look it up? Like when was the pride flag like
Adopted.
adopted?
Does that come from Stonewall? No,
No.
I don't think so. I think the Stonewall.
Because the world ends in 2011 in last.
Oh, the pride flag was created in the 70s.
Yeah, so how did
So
they
was
not?
well, how did they not know?
Yeah. Well, it's because since
They were kids.
yeah, and they were kids. They grew up in the apocalypse after the world ended, and it's really illustrative of the fact that
So
that
they didn't
level
keep the pride flag going?
doesn't seem to be.
Well, in the show, the Last of Us, the cordyceps virus outbreak begins in 2003.
Right.
So they were children. when that all went down.
I mean, we see Seth, so homophobia made a big comeback,
right?
Yeah.
And Ellie and Dina were born in after the wake of this.
Oh, okay. So they were born significantly. They weren't even babies. They were born into the apocalypse world.
Yes.
So a lot of
And
things from
Yeah.
the
Oh,
past
okay, that
world.
makes sense.
And that's the thing that shows like Station 11 do that, where they talk about like what is missing in the worlds of like the generations that are raised in the apocalypse versus before the apocalypse.
Mhm.
People like Seth, people like Joel, they carry all of those things of a world that was versus a world that currently is. And when they see, when Dina and Ellie see like all these pride flags and those things, and they don't know what it means that like, okay, so the sense of community and the sense of ownership of identity has been lost. And
But they'll explore it and find it together right then.
exactly. And when Dina is like, no, my mom told me that I just like boys when I said that I like boys and girls. Like there's like an identity of bisexuality that is just straight up like not acknowledged or
Her
not.
mom's so fucked
there.
up in the apocalypse. Like, I'm just like, bruh, there's mushroom people walking around. How
I
you
know.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's wild.
what the fuck are you doing?
I
that's
want to
why-
explore this. I want to explore homophobia in the apocalypse because
Homophobia, let's be clear. Homophobia is not okay
Period.
when it's not an apocalypse. I'm just saying, like,
no. I was saying that it was cool. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Wow, brave take, Chuck.
you know the comments. They're gonna be like, "So homophobia is cool when there's not mushroom people around."
God damn it! Damn it!
You know he's right. You know he's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. No, it's an interesting thing that a lot of these societal structures are so durable that they lasted throughout the entire apocalypse. But I guess, that's kind of how we are as people. And that's kind of what the show's about a little
I
bit.
will say, but it is interesting. Like, to your point, I thought it was just like them seeing this rainbow and not knowing what it is. And if I could be unserious for a moment, if I was leading my people, during the apocalypse, can you imagine how much shit that you could adopt that like homies don't know? Like, you could like throw up the rock, as the symbol, and they like, damn, that's cold.
And that's your cult leader now.
And then,
That's your-
you know what I'm saying? Like, you could do the Wakanda forever. They like, damn, you came up with that. I'm like, yeah, that's
Yeah,
on me, bro.
just
That's
hope you
all.
don't
That's
find
on me.
the Wakanda Forever
The
DVD.
Seraphites are just people who saw the Dark Knight.
Oh, wait, you think?
The Dark Knight didn't come
think their
out,
little
but
god was just like really was into Heath Ledger?
Jomi's got a point.
2003. Because I was thinking
the
about
Dark
this.
Knight didn't come
Didn't
out.
come out in
Wait,
2003.
what?
They didn't even get
to see the Dark Knight.
They didn't get Batman
Wait,
Begins.
wait,
I think that was
when did the Dark Knight
2005.
come out?
It was
2008.
2008.
And the cordyceps, because I looked this up when I was watching the episode.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's
because
tough.
she's going through the music, and I'm like, yo, this happened in 2003. They only got Bob Marley. They ain't listening to Get Rich or Die Trying.
Oh,
But it
No.
turns out they might have, because Get Rich or Die Trying came out in February 2003. And according to the Googles I did, cordyceps took over September 24th, 2003.
But this makes me think something. They got spared Kanye.
Ooh.
Because College Dropout doesn't come out till 2004, I think.
Right.
But
Here's the
late
thing.
2003. So there's no. So Kanye in the apocalypse is somewhere right now being the most annoying member of
Do you
Fedra.
think he
This is
laughed
a
at
certain-
that?
this
Can
is
you
a-
imagine
assuming
just
he
one
survived.
Fedra in a pink polo?
Yeah.
And a little Gucci bag.
To know that he's preserved in 2003 with a pink polo and nothing
Oh,
else.
yeah.
Or he might have his own Nazi group. You never know. He's a fucking Nazi. I don't give a fuck.
I will also just say, these motherfuckers never saw Avengers. They never got one with.
They
of
never
them.
got
Damn.
Avengers.
Nope.
They never.
Iron Man,
Did they
nothing.
even get
Nothing.
Spider-Man 2? They didn't even get
Nah.
Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2 didn't come out, bro.
That's crazy.
They was waiting for it. They was waiting for Spider-Man 2 to drop. And this was some guys, because Spider-Man 2 was probably finished.
Yeah.
This was some guy's biggest deal. Like, they was getting shuffled off to some camp somewhere, and they were thinking, damn, we're not even going to get to see Spider-Man 2. It's not dropping.
If it was me, and then we'll get back to the show. If I'm Fedra, I'm rolling up to like Universal Pictures, Disney, whatever. I'm taking all the canisters. You the man. Imagine you're like, yo, they didn't even drop
First cut
Spider-Man
of
2
Fast
yet.
and the Furious? Like,
Yeah,
That
bro.
already dropped. That came out. That was 99. That was
99. Well,
Fast and Furious was
Too Fast, Too Furious.
99?
Like, around
99
then,
or
right?
2000, yeah. It was like 99 or 2000, something like that.
Too Fast, Too
Shit,
Furious.
these-
Too
these
Fast, Too Furious
motherfuckers
was 03.
Yeah.
Damn.
But
Fast and
anyway,
Furious
back-
was what?
That's the first one?
Too Fast, Too Furious was in
First one was
03.
2001.
2001.
So they would have got
My
it.
bad.
Yeah,
They
but
would've got
and
it.
then Too Fast, Too Furious is 03.
So look, let's go back to the beginning of the episode.
Mhm.
Now that we've had a midnight tangent, we can call those midnight dreams now.
Wait, can we start with Isaac? Because
That's what I want.
So I was
for sure.
confused. Was Isaac? Did he infiltrate Fedra? And was he in Fedra and basically like that woman needed basically him to throw that grenade in there to show that he's fully WLF? Or was that like, I didn't realize what.
I think it's to be assumed that he had since defected from.
Or was he like a mold? That was his defection.
Was his defection. That's
what
probably what the mission he had to execute.
Okay.
To prove that he was one of them. So he had probably been in contact with them. You could tell that he was a little disaffected when he was riding in the car with the guys. He was sick of their bullshit.
That scene was great,
was that
though.
Josh Peck?
That was
Josh Peck doing the
I
yapping.
was like, that not Josh Peck.
Josh Peck doing here. I thought the other dude that he took with him was going to be the op. I thought, because he wasn't really laughing at all the jokes.
Nah.
So I thought he would be the one who was like, start shooting or whatever. Like when he asked the question, it wasn't until you go over and you see Jeffrey Wright, I'm like, oh, okay, I see what happens. Then
he
he brings
saved
him
that guy
out.
because he was unsullied.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I also thought what was really interesting about that moment is like Josh Peck is calling civilians voters. And it's this moment where it's like, oh, these motherfuckers gotta go. Like this is like a totalitarian regime, whatever. And I thought it was so smart that when they fast forward, he started to call the Seraphites scars. Like they're not even people to him anymore.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I was just like, oh, that is such a economical and beautiful way of kind of like illustrating, all right, this was a man that was righteous at one point, and slowly but surely the years, it's just like he replaced the voters with
it's one of the
else.
most inconvenient truths in the world. Indoctrination is indoctrination.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to be truly committed to a cause, you have to be indoctrinated. You have to. And it doesn't matter what that cause is. Even if the cause is considered righteous. Remember, one person's righteous cause is another person's oppression, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you sit down to, this might be uncomfortable for some people to hear, if you sit down to a young Marine or a young member of the armed services, and these are people that go out and protect Americans, when you listen to them, they have got to be indoctrinated into a certain belief system to go out there and do the things that they're being asked to do. Mm. So when we see him in the context of the world that we've observed in The Last of Us, he seems like somebody who is cool because he's upholding democracy, or he seems to be democracy and the idea of the world that we know, right? But then by the time you get to him, that belief is making him do unconscionable things. Unconscionable things.
That was when I was worried, because I was like, damn, this episode's a little YA. And when that motherfucker starts talking about them pots,
I was into that conversation.
I
was
just
like, you're not cutting to who he's talking to for quite a long time,
Yeah,
so it's going to be
like,
bad when you see who he's talking to.
I was really afraid. I'm like, please don't put that hot frying pan on this motherfucker's nuts.
That was my first thing too.
I was like,
that's where I went
please,
to
bro.
as
We can
well.
only go
Like,
so
please don't
far.
do that.
We can only go so far.
But here's the thing, though.
That guy didn't ask for a prosthetic.
Nah,
I would have.
well, you don't know if it's a problem. It could have been.
Yeah, it could have been.
If it was a prosthetic, they didn't do that man right, man.
What you're saying is, if you're an actor, when you asking for a prosthetic, you like, all right, give me a couple inches.
That shit gotta lay. That
All
shit
right.
gotta lay to the side. If you gonna shoot me like that, shit gotta lay. That's brave though. Shout out to him. Like if that shit gotta lay.
But here's the thing, he was a G. Cause that motherfucker, he burned his
held his
hand
hand
once,
out.
and then
Put
he's
the
like,
other
all
hand
right,
out.
man. Like, I was like, all right, I
Don't
believe.
talk. That was
I'm
real.
being for real. The Seraphites
yeah.
have done some pretty fucked up things in the show. I
Yes.
mean, because we saw that they disemboweled all those guys and they hung them when Ellie and Dina are escaping Fedra and they come upon the Seraphites. That's Fedra that's chasing them, right?
No,
No,
that's
WLF.
the
WLF, excuse me,
Wolves.
the wolves. That's the wolves that are chasing them because they see all the Fedra guys dead. When they come upon the people that the Seraphites have disemboweled, obviously they are capable of horrific things as well.
Yeah.
But I gotta be honest with you. It seems to me that they kind of G's. I don't know. I don't know why I, at this point,
Are siding with the Seraphites?
am somewhat sympathetic to the Seraphites.
Whoa, wait, the
because
Seraphite?
the WLF part of their group didn't go off and kill Joel.
That's true.
But I
Right.
will say, to your point, when the Seraphite was like, hey, man, all I could tell you, a lot of your motherfuckers coming to my side. Nobody from my side going over there.
Yeah.
I was like, I like him.
This is the thing where we get into, like, they start to argue about the chicken egg. Who started this? Why are we fighting who? Who started what? You train them to attack us. We train them to attack you. And it's that sin begets sin circular motion that we talk about in Game of Thrones and all these other shows where they're like, they start to forget why they're fighting, and then they just know that they need to fight.
Oh, well, they remember why they're fighting, but they don't remember the cause.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a thing, and I'm gonna use a real world example. My man Glasses Malone. Glasses Malone, don't Google
just gonna,
Glasses. Glasses Malone he's a rapper, bro. Okay. That's my guy.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to tell me.
Google Glasses then.
Googling Glasses Malone in the middle of podcasts.
It's crazy. So
I was going to listen, but I just wanted to get more context.
He is one of the smartest people I know, right? He's also an LA street expert.
Okay.
And so a lot of times I'll be having conversations with Glasses about the streets because, Jomi, shout out to everyone who grew up in LA. I don't understand how y'all remember all of these neighborhoods.
The neighborhoods where the hats you cannot wear.
All of that
You gotta
stuff.
stay.
I'll be talking to Glasses, and Glasses will be like, nah, yeah, that you can't go to that area. That area is 6th Avenue hard head gangster crip. I'd be like, what? He'd be like, yeah. And then like 2 blocks later, he's like, nah. Those are the 9th Avenue Sunrise bloodless crips. I'd be like, what?
Bloodless
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Crips.
Like, it's like a different thing.
You
So
hope
me and
so.
him talk a lot about when I talk about the reason why these sets are into it with each other. It's never their bloods, we're Crips, or they're from here, they're from here. It's always something that happened that's very intimate. It's always this person got killed at this party, or this person got killed in this dope deal gone bad. So the greater mission of we don't like this gang thing is not why they're fighting. They're fighting because they just got attacked. They're fighting because y'all killed my boy. Then you kill their boy.
Yeah.
Then you
And
kill
then the
their
most
boy.
recent
Then
reason-
you kill Bear. The most recent reason is the reason to fight. It's very rarely between this type of sectarian violence is very rarely about a grander ethos. It's about the fact that you did me, now I'm gonna
It's
do
petty.
you.
It's petty.
That's why it takes a figure that's transcended to stop it.
I mean, but what I think is so important about that is in this episode, I was almost like caught off guard because Ellie and Dina go in there and Dina's just like, yo, what are we gonna do if we run into some wolves? And it's like, don't kill them motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And when they actually do, like Dina shoots one and Ellie knifes one, I'm just like, how is this any different from Joel
It's the same thing.
going into that hospital and killing a bunch? Because I'm just like, these aren't the soldiers that you're looking for. And I kind of get, I might not know, it might be revealed that I'm wrong. I kind of got the, I was under the impression Abby and her group were on a revenge mission that the other wolves might have not been. They're like, yeah, if you want to go do that, go do that. But it wasn't like they were like, had a bunch of arms and a bunch of other shit.
I see what you're saying, but I think in that moment when you know that they just seen like a whole bunch of dead bodies, and if you're around there, they might just start shooting to ask questions. You might be like, "Hey, my fault, man. I'm innocent.
We're just walking around here.
We're just walking through,
we're
but
not
it looks
doing-
suspicious." They might just
No. I get it from that standpoint, but I was a little caught off guard because I'm just like, this is the reason the council was like, y'all don't need to go do this
Yeah.
because the wolves aren't going to care if they're like, well, you guys were like hunting us down and you guys were going to kill us. They're going to be like, yo, you just killed these men. You came into our territory. What the fuck is happening? And like part of this revenge mission that Ellie is on, I think the interesting thing story-wise is like, I'm not on board with Ellie. Like a lot of the choices that she's making, even when Dina's just like, I'm pregnant, I'm just like, oh, y'all are still like kids. I'm just like, the minute Dina says, I'm pregnant, I'm like, y'all should have been out of there. And like, Ellie tries to be like, yo, Dina, think about this. But I'm like, Ellie, you need to take her and y'all need to get on that horse and you need to go back to fucking Jacksonville. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I mean, does Ellie even believe what she wrote down on that paper? No, she doesn't believe
No.
it. She's doing what she's doing for a very selfish reason. And it's going to kick up a bunch of fucking shit. It goes back to what we just discussed. What are personal reasons for all of this fighting? And then what are reasons that are grander than that? Because if you're prioritizing things that put people first, then you're prioritizing safety and cooperation and sacrifice. Those are the things that kind of put people first. Everything else that puts you first, which is revenge, which is emoting, which is retribution, all of those things are corrosive. It doesn't matter whether or not we're living in a contemporary society or the apocalypse. Those things are corrosive. And what's happening between Ellie and Dina right now is that they are on a very corrosive mission that is forming them as people.
Yeah.
They're becoming more evolved people. Their relationship is deepening. Their resilience is deepening. But the stakes of their world and the decisions that they've made are becoming more drastic because this mission, to your point, Charles, is not righteous. It is born out of revenge, and it is born.
There's no justice.
There's no justice in it. Only personal justice. You know what I mean? So when you watch the show, it's an interesting watching them crawl, watching them do all of this, and thinking they done got themselves in some shit that they have no fucking business getting themselves into.
I mean, I feel bad even for like Jesse. Like, I'm assuming Jesse doesn't even know that he has a child on the way. And I'm just like, there's a chance that these two, I was scared for them. I'm like, y'all might not make it back to Jackson Hole.
Yeah.
Like, there was a moment where I was just like, it's hard for me to root for Ellie and Dina. Like, I'm rooting for them because I want them to be safe, but there was a moment I'm like, why are you making these stupid decisions?
Yeah, obviously you don't want them to die, but yeah, so in the game, at least up to this point, we haven't talked about her getting the infected or her getting bit, and then her finding out. Yeah. So in the game, there's spores, right? And so she breathes in. They go to the theater.
What do you mean?
So in the game, it's spores, right? You breathe.
It's not cordyceps. It's an airborne.
It's
virus.
airborne. You can still get bit, but the only way in the game or in the show is to get bit. In the game, you breathe the spores in, right?
Well, then how you supposed to? Well, what you mean? Then
gas mask.
Gas mask.
You have to wear a gas mask everywhere.
Not everywhere, but like in highly more infected areas, that's where gas mask comes in. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
At that point, we never be in this shit.
Yeah, we fucking cooked.
Airborne
So
shit. Yeah.
How do you know where the spores are?
That's
it's a game. I mean, the game it gets hazy in the game, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's stuff in, obviously they don't want to do like a Mando situation and everybody with masks on all the time. But in the game, the mask breaks. They go back and she's like, what's up? And she's like, no, I'm good. Like I'm not infected. You see, I'm not coughing, whatever. I'm pregnant. Boom. They have like a little moment, but it's really not that deep. In the show, I think they improved on it. I don't want to say like tenfold or whatever, but it's way more meaningful because she saves her life, like in the turnstile, gets bit, and then Dina's like, I gotta kill you. That's what we do. I gotta have this moment. She's like, no, give me a second. Don't do it. I'm gonna sit down. I'll show you I'm not infected. She doesn't get infected. And then in that moment, watching her not get infected, Dina goes, oh, I'm imagining life without this person. I can't live without this person. I think it's wild to say I'm pregnant and then sleep with somebody, but hey, it's the apocalypse, whatever. That moment between those two characters, just like I thought was really special to your
incredibly
point.
powerful.
Dina
leveled up.
Like, you can't drop the I'm pregnant.
That's my one note.
She found out that day.
That's fair.
That day.
If I have one note, you wait till after. Hey, that was great last night. Had a good time. By the way, I'm also pregnant, but it's cool. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, I don't know if I co-sign that either.
So you gotta tell her.
You gotta tell her, but I'm just like, we could wait till we back on the road. You ain't gotta be like, come on.
I mean, this is the most heat of the most moment.
Yeah.
To think that you're gonna kill somebody.
Hey, here's the thing. Ellie, I love Ellie because she like, guess I'm a daddy now.
She's not the stepfather. She's the father who stepped
up. For real.
They got the nice little thing going on there, but
she said we. She kept saying we.
But she didn't even think about it. It wasn't even like, man,
that's
her
girl.
But
that's her girl. It's like this.
That also shows you the difference between ladies and fellas. Because Ellie's right there ready, like with a dude. It's like I guess when I'm pregnant. Whoa. Except for one guy I knew named Pistol.
Why did they call him Pistol?
Gee, why did they call him Pistol?
They called him Pistol for a reason. But one guy I knew named Pistol, he's like, yeah, bro, she pregnant, bro. And I was like, what you gonna do? He's like, I'm gonna go back there and take my advantage back. So he felt like having sex with her while she was pregnant
Jesus Christ.
made her his again.
Why would you bring the sage in? Why would you even bring that story to the podcast?
Why
would you even bring that?
It was funny.
No.
Because
that's not funny.
The dude that the baby is actually for never knew that it was his baby. Pistol raised the baby. Pistol's doing good. And the baby saved Pistol's life. My guy Pistol. The baby saved his life. Saved his life. Like, he was like, yeah, he loved her. She got pregnant by somebody else. He was like, I'm sorry, this is a funny story. He's like, I gotta go over there and hit tonight. I gotta go.
Is it funny?
I gotta take it back.
Is it funny?
He had to reestablish. But then they were together and they got married, and Pistol became a great dad.
Well, all I will say, if this was my show, they would have woken up the next day and Dina would have looked over and Ellie would have been trying to stick away. Like, you're not trying to
like the tip.
Hey, you're awake.
What?
So the tension over the bite was really great.
Really great.
Good.
Yeah.
It was so great because that was great acting by the actress that plays Dina. What's her name?
Isabella Merced.
Isabella Merced, because she is dealing with so much. And there's so much she's dealing with that we don't even know she's dealing with because she's pregnant. She knows that she's pregnant. Her best pal that she agreed to come on this mission with is now bitten. She doesn't want to do what she has to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time, she's not sure whether or not to believe that Ellie is immune. But now she also has to deal with the fact that this whole time, Ellie's been immune and Ellie didn't tell nobody.
Right.
So that's going to probably come up and be a greater source of intrigue and questions.
It didn't seem to strike her in the moment that seemed
Not
to be
in the moment.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, that might come to fruition later. But it seems to me that like what was great about that scene is the interaction between Isabella and Bella, because there's nothing but like fear. Like Ellie's only projecting fear for Dina at that point, and Dina is only projecting her fear onto Ellie because she thinks that she has to kill her. And there's this great moment where like she wakes back up after that nap and the light's shining on her and you only can see like the light in the gun. You can't see her face.
Can't see her face, yeah.
You can't see her face. And then the second she turns that light off, like her face is like, she hasn't gotten a wink of sleep. She's only been staring at her.
Yeah.
Her face is like bedraggled and sad. And Isabella's done an amazing job with just showing abject fear. And then in the next moment, kind of pushing that away and just being that smiling, bubbling Dina that Ellie can easily fall in love with.
That scene and the scene where Ellie is playing "Take on Me" on guitar.
I gotta talk about that.
And we'll talk about the work that Bella Ramsey's doing in that scene. But the way she's able to emote without it's all in the eyes, not saying a word, and how she's looking at Ellie, and it just takes a second. You're like, she's in love with her.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of like grandstanding, a lot of like playing around, but I haven't seen somebody do that much work and say so much without saying anything in a long time. She is killing it.
I mean, I think what's interesting to me is the first season of Last of Us, Ellie having to hide that she's immune is very much like a story plot device of like she can save humanity. And in this, I think they keep reinforcing episode after episode that this has now become a metaphor for being closeted. And this was like the first episode where I'm like, oh, now I'm understanding why Dina is so, like, why they're so attracted to each other, because I'm just like, oh, Dina was in the closet and she had to hide something for years and years and years of her life. And she sees something in Ellie where it's like, yo, Ellie gets to live her truth. Ellie is super just like, she doesn't give a fuck, whatever. But then there's that other level of like, oh, she is actually hiding something.
Right.
It's just not what I thought. Like, it's the fact that like she probably could have saved humanity. And I'm just like, oh, this is true love because like Dina doesn't care. I think that thing that's connecting them is just like, oh, like together we don't have to. You don't have to listen to Tommy being like, we can't tell anybody about you anymore.
And it's also very interesting. You mentioned that being a metaphor for being closeted. There's one thing that I actually did forget to mention when we were talking about them not knowing like the pride iconography and everything, that when the apocalypse happens, gay marriage isn't legal. And that's a level of like marginalization that queer people have had and then calcified since the apocalypse. And then since that, this level of like incorruptibility, let's say, that Ellie has with her immunity that can actually not even so much literally save the world as in giving a vaccine, but kind of be a symbol for the level of humanity that can actually be preserved and evolve past an apocalypse.
Yeah.
And it starts with interactions.
So
like
we
this.
had some more growing up to do.
Right.
And in the middle of that, washed away.
Mushroom.
Yeah. It interesting points all around, especially like when we're talking about the reality of them coming to terms with their identities and the secrets that they expose to one another. Them being together was almost like a celebration of not having any secrets anymore. It was a very physical and emotional celebration of, you know everything there is to know about me. I know everything there is to know about you. And it'll be interesting the way the show changes as things are deepened. And now, I mean, it's interesting.
Well, it changes a lot. I mean, in the moment when they see the attack going on in Seattle and they're ready to go, and Ellie's like, well, hold on, let's keep you right here. But they decide that, you know, they're in it together. Let's finish together. But I mean, I think I would hope Ellie's taking a lot more care of Dina, knowing what we know right now.
It was such a devastating thing that Ellie said at the end of the episode, where it's like, you don't have to go with me at the end of this. I'm like, that's not like, you're still finding reasons, you're still finding justifications. It should be, we don't have to go because it's different now. Not also, you don't have to go because it's different now.
Dina's fucking pregnant. If you go and get yourself killed, how's she gonna make it back to Jackson Hole? Like, what are you doing?
Well, she might be able to ride back. Pregnant women can do things.
Yes.
I mean, there's Seraphites running around. There's Seraphites running around.
Unwoke.
There's fucking WLF.
Yeah,
there's Raid.
Hey, let me tell you something right now, okay? Back in the hunter-gatherer days, everyone acts like that the pregnant women just stayed back and didn't do anything. The men were off fighting boars and, yes, gorillas. But the reality is the women were doing maybe more than the men. I would say more. And let me tell you why. Because not only were they looking after everything and preparing food and taking care of young, guess what they were also doing? Hunting and gathering. They were hunting small game, like little wabbits. They were gathering up things to eat and stuff. They were doing stuff, Charles. Your thought
and
that
guess
pregnant
fucking
women
what?
can't
Were there
do
fucking
stuff?
mushroom zombies everywhere? Were there mushroom? No, there wasn't.
But
No.
yes, there were tigers and fucking mammoths and things of that nature. I don't know if they were. Wait. During the time of the woolly mammoth, I don't think they were humans yet.
I think there were humans. They were like Neanderthals, right?
Neanderthals are definitely not humans. So
I mean,
they're Neanderthals are not.
There were human like
woolly mammoths and humans coexisted for tens of thousands of years.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so there you go. So so they were looking after.
So what you're telling me is your pregnant lover is like, you find out she's pregnant. You're just like, you know what? I'm gonna put you back on this horse. Go back to Jackson Hole.
Okay.
I gotta go on a mission.
That's
what don't show yourself. There's a level of
I'm gonna be real with you. This belief that pregnant women can't do stuff.
When did I say that?
This is a contemporary belief.
I did not say that.
They've been putting on for a long time, doing different stuff. Ain't that right, Aleya?
Silence. Exactly. Exactly.
It's not gonna help you the way you think it is.
But yeah, that was me trying to be evolved, but I fail all the time.
Always improve it.
Yeah, always.
Ellie's better. But be like Ellie, you know? Step up.
But here's the thing. Unlike Ellie, we're gonna take a beat to think about all of our things we just said. and go to a quick commercial break. And we get back, we're going to talk more Last of Us. All right, Van, we're back.
Jeffrey Wright's character's name is what again?
Isaac.
Okay, so Isaac. Are we on a collision course with Isaac? What what does the introduction of Isaac's character demonstrate to our protagonists? You guys have played the game. So I'm assuming Isaac is in the game.
Isaac is in the game, also voiced by Jeffrey Wright.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. Serendipitous. But it's like, I'm wondering, as someone who hasn't played the game, how Isaac and our people end up on a collision course together.
Well, I mean, obviously, they got to go kill Abby and Owen and all those guys. I don't think Isaac would love that, right? Considering he's already got to deal with the Seraphites. But I think what that scene in particular does is just show the ruthlessness of Isaac and what he's willing to do and how those people believe in the mission, right? Remember, the whole spiel about the cookware and everything I thought was great, but just the all right, cool, this is a regular degular. I'm going to burn you. You didn't tell me. I'm frustrated. Boom, I'm going to shoot you. I think the thing that's really telling is the guy outside that he saved was just like, yeah, man, he had to do it. I don't know what to tell you about, guys. This is what we do. This is how it has to get done. And it's just really grim and really dark and really, really, really sets the tone for who Isaac is and why we should be scared.
Right.
If he crosses paths with Dina and Ellie, it might be bad.
What happened if you were just a Fedra agent at that moment? He was just like, man, I wasn't laughing. I'm like, shit, I was tired. I was taking a nap. And he just, you know what I'm saying? You're just like, shit, bro.
Toss off grenade, dude. And you're like, hey, bro, I was just trying to get a check.
By the way, they were kind of slow on the uptake there. He tossed a couple of grenades in there, and it took them niggas a couple of seconds.
Does it lock from the outside also?
Nobody was kicking or doing
Nobody
nothing.
ran up to the front.
Bad news bears.
But the scene is so interesting because Isaac comes across as someone who is both against the idea of people being labeled voters because they took place in democracy, and against the idea of killing someone who he feels like doesn't deserve it. Because the newer guy that was in there that eventually becomes hardened and indoctrinated as well, was someone that was too green to the way things are, the status quo, and he allowed him to live, and then gave him a choice when they were on the outside of the truck, which it's always so breathtaking to me when a character has that type of moral ambiguity. He murdered all those guys in cold blood, became exactly the thing that he was critiquing, softly critiquing while he was inside there with them. However, he didn't do it to anyone that he did not feel like deserved it.
Right.
Which tells me that there might be a point to where he can look at someone and go, you are my enemy, but you don't deserve to be slaughtered in a way.
And it's interesting that we meet him when we're first introduced to him years before that interrogation scene, because that ideology may have changed and morphed into something that's a bit more hard.
Well, not necessarily, because when the whole time he's talking to that guy, he's actually demonstrating why the guy does deserve it.
Right.
Why the Seraphites or the scars or whatever, he's ruthless about it.
Right.
But the entire time that he's talking to him, he's giving what he feels like is his rationale to why this guy should be tortured.
But then when we have that interrogation scene, he's talking to him and he's just like, well, we started this and you started that and all this and this and this. They're getting bogged down in the most recent reason rather than what somebody was, the genesis of the problem, why we call them voters. He never forgot something like that. He seemed to forget where all of this started. If he even was taking that mental on in the first place.
The only thing I'd say, I agree with you. The only thing I'd say is, he's getting bogged down in the most recent reasons, but he's still trying to prevent, what is it, an attack?
Right.
Or a raid, or he wants to know where they are. So I guess we're kind of, my thing is when I think about the character, I think about reasons that he might let Ellie or Dina live.
I mean, my favorite thing in zombie, just like literature, movies, TV, or whatever, is leaders are always trying to litigate what is civilization and who is upholding civilization. And I think for Isaac, democracy is the thing, and just like civility and trying to uphold the old world. And obviously the Seraphites have branched off, and because I think it's always interesting, like what happens to human when everything falls apart. Some go to religion, some try to just like military, whatever. And I'm like, to your point about like, what is he gonna do about Ellie and Dina? Isaac might still look at them as just like, they're still quote unquote civilized.
Yeah.
They still remind me of the old world. I don't want to have to do this.
Right.
Versus the Seraphites quite literally have a physical demarcation showing we've branched off from 2003. We're something different. Which I always am just like, I think that's great, because even with Isaac, I'm like, what separates Isaac from someone like Joel? Because one of the last things we hear from Joel, at least in the first episode of the season, is him kind of being like, close off the walls. We don't want anybody in here. He's trying to save his little pocket. And Isaac, to me, kind of like reminds me a little bit similar, more ruthless, but he's trying to save his pocket of humanity. He's
That's all
like,
you got.
fuck this. He's just like, Seraphites, you were not part of this. We got to kill them motherfuckers.
You guys, we didn't miss Joel at all in this episode.
No.
You feel guilty?
No.
Speak for yourself.
Well, I didn't.
Oh, you missed Joel?
So I will say this. I was just like, I believe in the Ellie and Dina of it all when the action was happening. When
Of it
like
all, that's a
shit got,
strike.
what?
Of it all, that's a strike.
Fuck it. When the action was happening, when they was running from the zombies, when like Dina was about to shoot Ellie, I was just like, I see the vision. When Ellie picked up the guitar and started to doing the fucking one-man concert, I was like, I don't know about all this
What are you
shit.
talking-
You're Charleston right now.
I don't know about all
hater
this.
energy.
You're
Jomi.
Charleston right now.
Jomi, call out the
You're
Charleston.
Charleston right now. That scene,
That was beautiful.
because it honestly beautiful. You say you miss Joel. I'm watching the scene and I'm hearing Ellie sing, and all I could imagine is just like it's superimposed her and Joel just like going around like an edit or whatever. I'm just like in my head, I'm just like, man, think about the memories her and Joel had. Like that's all she has of him left is to play that guitar and think about the songs that she taught him. Right, that's Joel continuing when they leave, and the shot of just the guitar sitting there, she's kind of like leaving a part of her behind to go chase after his killer.
Wagon.
That meant something to me, buddy.
Yeah.
That meant something to me, dog.
It was beautiful.
Get that corny shit out of here.
Damn.
Man.
I felt nothing. Here's the thing I will say, also, it wouldn't have been the song I would have chose.
Take on me. Well,
I do like,
Well, remember,
Take on me.
Joel and me are like the same age. So actually, I think he might be a year younger.
Well, no, Joe's canonically like 60 when he dies.
Yeah, but I think he was born in like 80 or 81.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's
In this far-flung
so this
time,
is
yeah.
that's what you're teaching to the song you're teaching to your cub.
Wouldn't have been me, but at the same time, it probably would have been songs from that era.
Yeah.
You know, if I had a guitar, I guess so. Joel's born in what, 80 or 81, 78, 79? Look at
look
Joel's
this up.
Yeah.
like. So for me, if I was teaching songs to my cub, and it was the songs that mattered, it would probably be like Babyface, Whip Appeal.
Ooh.
Something you could play on like a guitar, though?
In the HBO series, he's born in 1967.
67?
Yeah.
God damn.
Oh, wait, I guess that makes sense, because what year is it?
What year is it right now? Like 2026.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, then I'm fucking totally wrong. Wait, so then he's born in 1967, so he is, Take On Me is the music of his
Youth.
Oh.
yeah, so he's like 20, he's in high school, not in high school, but he's like
I don't know.
15, 16, 17?
Ellie
Yeah.
some like, you don't have to call. It's okay, girl. Like, you know what I'm saying? Get Dina, like,
Bruh,
Teaching Price and Tiller.
bruh, that's
and
from
stuff like that.
8701 though. So that shit was barely out. That didn't get a chance to be classic.
you don't think Joel wasn't listening to no Usher?
I don't think
I
87.
mean, 03, I don't know how
I mean,
much.
maybe, but can you play Usher on the guitar though, for real?
You could play some Usher joints. You couldn't. I don't know if you could play. You don't. I mean, I'm sure you could play. You don't have to call. I'm sure we're gonna say this, and then there's gonna be some kid. I'm gonna cover Usher.
Confessions
have
came
to
out
call.
in 03, though. Oh, damn.
Confessions is
Did,
03.
did Confessions come, like, make
Imagine.
it? Did
Did
Confessions
Confessions-
make it?
We didn't
These
get
are my
confessions.
No, dog, I'll be singing
Honestly-
that shit right in front of Jesse.
But honestly, that's the song that they should be playing, Confessions. Because you got the girl pregnant, and you know what I mean?
Right?
That's Jesse's confession.
Dog, can you imagine?
Jesse like living his life right now, peaceful. He don't
Not
know
knowing
he's got a baby on the way.
Jesse not living. Jesse hitting other hoes.
You
Excuse
wait,
me,
you
I
don't think?
apologize. Jesse's having sex with other great young women.
Yeah.
There
And
you
maybe
go.
some guys, because you never know.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Whatever.
I want to see Jesse do the Usher slide. And just
With
like,
the Heelys. Jesse, the Heelys. But I enjoyed the scene. I thought it worked well. At first, so that's a version of Pluck. So at first, yeah, that's
Is
kinda,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, it's a version of Pluck. It's not.
How so?
Musicals are plucky.
That wasn't okay.
So music numbers sometimes it's by kids, especially. Sometimes it's pluck.
Mhm.
Finding a guitar that reminds you of your father is very plucky coded to me.
But it didn't play out plucky. When I started watching it, she sang so beautifully, and it was so well acted.
Dina was crying. She was tearing up a little bit.
Yeah.
It worked, and it was a tribute to her father figure and the whole nine. I thought it was a
And
very
imagine how
moving
rare
season.
something like that is in a time like this.
A time
Somebody
like what?
playing a guitar with like aptly played music. Like that doesn't happen that much, probably.
I think it probably happens a lot.
Like in Jackson, sure, but like
Yeah.
around like all of this rubble that you find this perfectly preserved guitar.
oh, you're talking about in that type of situation.
yeah. Like
Here's the
amongst
thing.
all of this.
In the apocalypse, if you got the voice, you know what I'm saying? If you like singing and you can dance, you got like Chris Brown moves or some shit in the middle of the apocalypse, you are gonna kill it. Like there's no entertainment.
Did Chris Brown come
Y'all,
out?
y'all,
2003?
hold on real quick. Look at the top right screen up there. Look how brolic I look right here. Aleya, look.
This is why we can't have the confidence monitors
Yeah,
on.
we
This
can't
is
have
not
the-
why we're
yeah.
I'm
doing
turning that off
Aleya,
after
look.
this.
Turn-
I
turn it
I
off.
realized it 10 minutes ago.
Aleya, you zoom in on this. Just
No,
for,
I'm not going to do that.
He's gonna
I
get himself
realized
an
you were
aneurysm.
looking at
Turn it
yourself
off.
10 minutes
breakout.
ago.
Look how brolic I look right now.
That's why we got to be the front lines with the gorilla.
I'm turning
there you
off
go.
your
That's
lights.
why you have
You
to
do
do
it.
the gorilla.
You feel that trap? Look how brolic I
All
look
right.
right now.
Yeah, man.
Oh, brolic.
He got
lightheaded. He got lightheaded.
lightheaded.
I'm deceased.
You got lightheaded from flexing?
That's
Play the drop. Play the Van is
Van
old
is
drop.
old, man.
Man is old.
You gotta take a second. Look, he's sweating.
You're not sweating.
What happened to Van? Oh, I don't know. He just flexed his bicep and he started sweating.
It's crazy to
Jesus
say,
Christ.
You brought out the whiteboard talking about 100 niggas can beat a gorilla. You sweating just flexing,
You was-
bro.
oh
This
my
is
God.
crazy.
I held it too long. I apologize. You guys gotta watch on YouTube if you want to see
Yeah, missed
how I
that.
just fucking embarrass myself.
Jesus Christ.
You just get lightheaded. You need water? Jesus.
Oh, man.
Wow, that was great.
Days. Oh, wow.
Shit. Okay.
Doesn't get better than that, fellas.
This is
All right.
beautiful.
So where we're at now, the show is at a fever pitch of drama. Last question I'll ask before we get out of here: do we need to check back in Jackson or?
Well, that's the thing. Like, it feels like something's going to be happening when, you know, the people that are closest to Ellie know that she's gone. You know, probably Tommy might have a reaction to that. We'll have to see. I don't know. I don't really know where the show's going to be taking us. Like, the game's narrative has been laid out, but the show's been taking some like liberties as to what it shows us and when. So kind of anything's on the table right now.
Here's the thing. I would like a check-in on like Tommy and Jesse. Those two, like the dynamic duo.
That's funny.
Yeah, I like, you know, just because here's the thing. Who do you think Jesse is? What's Jesse's reaction when he's just like, Dina ran away with Ellie? You think he's surprised? He's like,
I see
That
with
is
it-
like the
those two
most
toxic
not
kids-
surprised thing ever.
Yeah.
I think even Tommy wouldn't even be surprised. Tommy be like, these, you know, like these kids, but Jesse be like, well,
I think
that's
his
just-
wife is gonna.
I mean, yeah, but I'd be interested to see like, what do they like what do they do after that? Right? Is it just like they went cool? Yeah, tough. We lost Dina and Ellie. See ya, guys.
If I'm being real, I'm really judging Ellie in this episode, just in terms of just like, once I see that these motherfuckers are blowing up shit and they got grenades and all this shit, I'm just like, yo, go back to Jackson Hole.
Nah,
Like, these
man.
people are gonna fuck your settlement.
Job's not
This
done.
mission is looking crazy. Like when they were hiding out in the subway or the train or whatever that was.
Crazy sequence, by the way.
Yeah.
Insane sequence. We probably should
Well,
spend a
here's the
little
thing.
time
I
on it.
love that. That was when I was like, did the lean in. I was just like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
happening? When they started running, they have to like go through the subway and shit.
And then the turnstile like gets them caught. Like
Yeah.
it's so great.
And by the way, they are nowhere near being able to catch up with Abby. I don't know. It just doesn't. It
They wouldn't
seems
even
like
really have an idea where she is.
they're right now on a mission for survival when they're supposed to be on the offensive. It just seems like a bunch of trouble for nothing. And I'm like, they are so in over their heads. And you guys, you game players, I guess you guys know like what happens and stuff, but
Mhm.
that just deepens the intrigue for me.
And it's so crazy because like a lot of the major consensus was, hey, yeah, let's fucking go. They got Joel, go for it, get the posse together and do all this stuff. But like not even 2 hours in Seattle, and we're like, nah, that's not worth
I'm
it.
gonna be so real. I'm a fucking coward. The minute I saw all them Seraphites fucking killed and shit in the forest, I would have been like, hey, Dina, we gotta.
Let alone the
we're-
hordes of zombies.
Man, I don't, because here's the thing too. Ellie got herself fucking bitten for the second time in what, 6 months?
Well, that was saving somebody this time.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, but she's
immune.
Yeah,
And that's why, like,
yeah.
Dina not?
Yeah,
that's
so
why
that's
she
why
did-
Dina
that's why
didn't
she
get
saved
bit.
her.
Yeah, but she put Dina in this situation to begin with.
I understand, but they both signed up for that.
Yeah, she didn't like.
And she
did-
reaffirmed
Did she
that
hold her
every
by?
time.
I
Did he hold her by gunpoint? Like, hey, you coming with me?
Yeah.
No,
And by the
you
way,
ain't-
and that's how the
Dina,
episode
whoa,
ends. They're
Dina,
do-
if we're being honest, she's going there because that's her boo thing. She loves Ellie. But part of me feels like Dina also feels a little bit guilty.
she loves Joel too.
Yeah, I
Mind
feel
you,
like she
said
loves
that.
Joel. She like they got the drop on her. She wasn't alive when Joel died. She probably feels a little bit like, oh, I gotta protect my lover and I gotta protect my pseudo father figure. And if I'm Ellie, you gotta be the bigger person and just be like, Joel wouldn't want, because Joel wouldn't want this. If we haven't even talked about this. Would Joel even want this revenge mission?
Absolutely
No,
not.
No.
Like he would have been like, what are you doing?
Yeah, he wouldn't have wanted it at all. Joel could actually have been captured by the wolves, like still alive.
Mm-hmm.
And he wouldn't have wanted Ellie to come to try to save him. He wouldn't have wanted that. He would have wanted to figure out himself or have somebody
Yeah.
else go. But
I
he
feel like
wouldn't have wanted her
Tommy
out
even
there.
knows that. Tommy is even just like, yo, this is not the
And that's the
This is
yeah.
not the path Joe wanted you down. He tried to save you. That's what I think part of the guitar is too. Is just like the guitar, especially in the apocalypse. We talk about it. That you're creating. That's a future. That's something that is just like peaceful.
Yeah.
You're just communing with people. There's a reason that he fixed Ellie's guitar and taught her something and passed that down to her. And the thing that like when she puts that guitar down, I'm like,
That's leaving that behind too.
you're leaving that part of what he taught you as a father behind
Mm.
to do the other thing that you actually saw, which
Yeah.
was Joe get busy and kill anybody in his way to get what he wanted.
Fantastic episode of television. You guys
Mm.
were up. Thunderbolts was good.
Yep.
Andor is good.
Yep.
Last of Us is good.
Mhm.
Sinners was good.
Yep.
Who's gonna break the streak?
Oh man.
Who's gonna come along and fuck up?
And
I'm not gonna say
Whoa.
nothing. I ain't got
One
nothing
bad
to say.
vibe and I'm out. That's
Got
what.
nothing.
Well,
I got
I
nothing
think
to
we
say.
safe until probably Superman, but then there's a show that I won't name that's coming out. But also, I want to support
I
our
don't know what y'all
sisters.
talking
I
about.
want to support the
Oh.
sisters. So I ain't gonna say it, but
Oh yeah, that's a wrap.
Boy, we're gonna be doing some lying.
yeah.
Y'all not about to get us. We can do the midnight meeting now at 11. Y'all not about to get us. I gotta go home. So you think the black girl geniuses get a 6?
Jesus Christ.
Okay. You think little black girls at MIT don't deserve to have their own show? Yeah. Okay. 11. It's 11. It's a pre-11 right now. Just go ahead and drop it. Anyway, that's a wrap. This week on the Ringiverse feed, the House of R will give you their latest deep dive into The Last of Us. Monday, we have a special spoiler-filled interview with Thunderbolts director Jake Schreier.
We're on the couch. It was great.
Yeah.
we're all on the couch together.
Oh, I'm advocating for us being a couch show now. The couch, I like the vibe of the fucking couch.
You guys,
Couch cast.
casting couch.
All right,
All
stop.
right.
No, I
All
walked
right.
you right into that. I walked you right into
You-
that. That's my
you-
fault.
right,
You're
God.
a freak.
I
You're a
apologize.
freak.
I threw.
You're
I
a
did
back
I did
shoulder.
that.
You was right
You're a freak.
I did
That's
that.
freaky shit. You know what's going on.
I did that.
Couch. That's you know what you were trying to say because I know that there's a site.
Absolutely not.
I'm looking
You
up the
were
site
locked
right now.
in. You
Why? Why
Oh.
are you not?
Anyway, I apologize.
You was Luca throwing the
You guys look at the. I'm being serious. A lot of times you guys comment on things, and I'll be honest with you, we didn't ask you for your opinions on them. You know,
Well, tough.
I'm just saying. A lot of times, like
we value your opinion.
not
Sometimes.
not necessarily that much on the Ringerverse Reddit. They tend to be actually. Since I've been there, the Ringerverse Reddit tends to be very fucking wholesome and protective of us as much as they can be.
Sure.
Not you, but as much as they can be. They tend to be very wholesome. But you have your whole hive on there of people that live and die for you, right? So they tend to be very. But the higher learning Reddit,
Oh yeah, it's not the same.
Woo!
no,
The Venn diagram is two circles.
no. There's all kinds of things that people will talk about. They'll be like, you know, I'll say something and it'll be like this and this and that, and they'll talk about I hate when it is. But we are actually asking you guys' actual opinion.
Yes.
So please help us. We were on a couch
Mhm.
for the Joel Schreier interview.
The same
The Jay
couch
Schreier
that we were
interview.
on for when we did the collab with Joe recently, and the Ringerverse Awards.
Right. So when Jake was here, we were on a couch. You guys tell us what you think
Of the couch.
of the couch. Tell us what you think of the way we
Might switch
look
the vibe up.
on the couch. Did it work? Was it cool? Do you like the couch better? Do you like the semicircle table better? You guys tell us, okay? Cool. All right, we're asking and for that.
This time.
All right. Also, we'll have Andor reactions and deep dives for you guys as well. Our producers are Steve, the architect, Ahlman, Jonathan, Kermah, Aleya, Zenieris. Gonna be a dinner on socials. Hashtag Aquafina Jomi. Oh yeah, went down the
Yeah.
wrong pipe. Additional production from Arjuna Ramgopal. Chuck, take us out.
Ellie is the father who stepped up. Jeffrey Wright certainly set the tone. And after this episode, Van, it is officially a no flex zone.
Can I be honest with you guys? We've already won. We came into the gorilla's backyard and took his shit.
That is true. Well,
Yeah, but like even the
with
playing field
weapons,
though.
Oh, but I just would like to
No.
let people know that certain media figures reached out to me
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah, for sure.
they were trying to get on me for cooking up a strategy against the gorilla. I actually had one very prominent media figure say that I shouldn't encourage people to be violent towards something that's big and black.
Wow.
all right, man. All right.
I just thought of it
I
being.
love this guy.
I thought
That's
this-
funny. They were like,
I
racist-
love this guy.
racism.
This is one of the best guys. But
Nah.
we having fun with the gorilla.
I thought
And
this
by
was
the
an
way,
anti-Harambe
we
agenda.
reach-
'cause I'm like, I
we
can't do
I
that.
love this guy, by the way.
Did you see the tweet that was like, hold on, let me pull it up so I can read it verbatim. It's just like, we can't have fun no more, man. We can't do nothing.
We just can't do nothing.
Like
Niggas,
the world is ending. Can we just talk about like fucking trying to beat up a gorilla? God damn.
niggas was hitting me up and they was like, if you only put this same type of thought into freeing our people.
It was-
I'm like,
Oh,
bro,
for God's sake!
I wish.
I don't mean
Hold on,
to
wait a
have
second,
discourse.
Wait a second.
People are anti-fun.
That's not for you to comment on.
They're just putting too much pressure on you, Van.
You brought it back.
Yeah. Why is that only your responsibility?
Thank you, Steve.
Let's go,
Yeah.
Steve.
Thank you,
That
That was the
Steve.
save of a
Boy,
lifetime,
Steve
boy.
was like motherfucking Patrick Wall right there. Thank you, Steve.
Brought it all the way back.
Outline's good. Leia,
good?
are we good in there?
Hey, I want this to make the podcast. I want right now, everybody that's listening, even if this is in post credits, I want everybody to show special consideration and appreciation for Aleya and Kerm for the Midnight Collective. They work very hard, and they don't get paid in accolades like we do. Like people,
Who gets paid now?
fuck you, Van.
Can't fight a gorilla.
They don't get the feedback from the audience, and a lot of the times the praise. But we want to make sure that more than just the acknowledgement at the end of the show, that we make sure that we say thank you to Aleya, thank you to Jonathan Kermah, thank you to Arjuna Ramgopal, and everybody else who works so hard. So everybody behind the scenes works so hard to make the show. So we really do appreciate it, you guys. We're doing a lot of work. So thank you guys.
Van owes me $30.
See, Aleya can't do it.
Hey, $30 is asking for $30 is crazy.
I do. Aleya can't do it.
That's got to be a very
That was me
specific
being
ask.
Aleya can't do it. I think Aleya is actually allergic to praise. I want to start praising Aleya so much because she's got it. She needs that tension. That's why she's going to run my company one day. Then she's going to run my company. Then she's going to have her own company. Our film company is growing. Aleya's going to run the company. I promise you. I keep saying that. Y'all think it's bullshit. Not you, Steve.
Not me.
No, don't need another white CEO.
Nope.
Oh
All right.
my! Can we get to Last of Us?
It's a real shame.